Our next speaker, Paulina Montano, she's the co-founder of Job Today. But before we talk about Job Today, to talk about her, because she's actually a really interesting person, she speaks 6 languages, lived in 4 countries, and as a hobby runs a marathon. So she definitely has some stamina which is needed for running startups. Her background story is, and I found this quite interesting, she was managing a chain of petrol stations before launching her startup, Job Today, which is now a successful mobile app that attracted more than 5 million users and helps people to find the right job. And those 5 million users, just to give you a framework, they achieved in 3 years. And based in a country which has 600,000 inhabitants, Luxembourg. So I think this is really cool. She will talk about growing your startup and the first challenges you face. She will specifically point out 3 key challenges that you have if you go from 0 to growth round. So without further ado, please welcome on stage Paulina Montano.
Hi everyone. Ooh, this mic is really working perfectly well. So just a quick intro, a few words about myself. I'm a co-founder of a mobile marketplace for casual jobs, which instantly connects employers and available candidates. What we do at Job Today is we actually build the world's favorite mobile platform for social hiring. Just found how a clicker works. OK, so what it is, what makes us in Job Today very different? What it is, what makes us so special? Well, in short, we change the way how people are finding casual jobs. We leverage technology to make hiring process fast and efficient. In other words, we make hiring fast and simple. There is one undeniable trend in our hiring universe today, and this trend is called immediacy. Overwhelming migration to mobile definitely plays its role here. Mobile stands for things happening right here, right now, at our fingertips. In Job Today, we are on the forefront of this trend. The entire interaction between employer and candidate, from posting a job to actually talking to the candidates, in Job Today will take you minutes versus hours and days using traditional solutions as job boards or agencies. We are also thinking about the experience of the applicant, of how to make experience nicer for them. We believe that all the applicants actually do deserve an answer. In Job Today, we pioneered the feature which we call 24 hours response, which enables all the applicants on the platform to actually get the feedback on the status of their application within 24 hours. Just maybe let me expand a little bit on what it is casual jobs, because some people can't really relate to what casual is. Casual is actually a huge market out there. Our sweet spots are hospitality and retail, but it could be any other operational industry where people are faced with a very high churn of staff and need those workers urgently. Think hospitality, think logistics, think beauty, think manufacturing, think warehousing. It's really immense market out there, which before Job Today came to the market was actually left unattended. But that's enough about us, because here I'm here really to share a few tips on all the challenges which we faced as a company in the first 3 years of our existence. Let's maybe, just a few more numbers about us and how fast we are growing and how is the traction. Today, Job Today is actually the fastest mobile hiring platform, fastest growing mobile hiring platform in the world. We have seen our community of users literally explode over the last 3 years. We are present in 2 markets, and we managed to bring on board more than 5 million users and over 400,000 business customers. But now also coming back a little bit to how the journey started, what challenges did we find on our way, and whatever it is, useful tips I can share with you guys. So I guess I'm a little bit of a typical startup co-founder. My previous professional experience lies in retail. I was what people call like serial entrepreneur. Used to be running all kinds of businesses, from a fashion store to a restaurant to a chain of petrol stations. And actually, by running those businesses, I was facing this very common challenge of hiring staff on short notice in those service types of industries. I tried every solution out there and felt like nothing was really covering my needs. So that's when I came up with the idea, hey, we can do things better. It's impossible, but in this world of technology, some processes are still so slow and so outdated. That was the moment when I met my co-founder, Eugene. Eugene Mizin, he is coming from a technical background. He used to work for a VC firm at the moment when we met. And I think I was driving him crazy for about a year or so, pitching all kinds of different ideas to him, until we actually spoke about this idea of Job Today and decided to go ahead and make it happen. Back when, my little understanding about how it is you go about raising capital and what are the VC capital investors look like, I believed we were like something like what you see on the slides. Very sharp, analytical people who have answers to all world's problems in their head, who see right through you, and who will be merciless on your first mistake, etc., etc. Thanks God, I had Eugene, who used to work in this world and who can actually guide us through these first steps of fundraising. So what it is you need to raise funding? Very simple. I would base it to three main elements. First of all, you need great idea, scalable idea, preferably. It would also be fantastic if this idea would not be about something you particularly want to build, but it's actually something useful what people need outside the real world. It would be about market opportunity, being able to articulate how big is your market, how big is your opportunity, why this particular project could be so appealing or interesting to any given investor. And then, of course, it's about having the right team to actually execute on this vision and bring this project home, bring it to success. So imagine things went super well for you, you got your team, you got your funding, and you even got a plan. You know where it is you want to go, you know what it is you want to achieve, you start working on it. What are the challenges which you might be finding on your way? I think these images which I'm showing here, probably everybody who ever ran the startup, you can probably recognize yourselves in it. It all starts with a beautiful idea, with a beautiful project. The question is, from the moment between the conception of idea and the implementation of it, things can go wrong, and the final result might not look exactly how it was planned originally. So what it is we faced and we dealt with in my company? First of all, when you are a startup, even with a superhero team, and even if you have raised great funding round and you are happy with it, the thing is, there are only a few things you can. There's so many great things you could be doing, but if you want to do things good, maybe good is not good enough. You have to do things great. So you do need to focus. It's constant challenge and a constant battle, but it's all about trade-offs. What are the most important things for my business right now? What it is, this one thing which is actually going to move the needle? Because really, no matter how much funding you raised, and no matter how many great people you have working with you, it's really, really important to focus if you don't just want to do things okay, but if you really want to do something amazing, which really would make difference out there for you and at the market. It sounds easy, but those trade-offs are really, really hard to take. I remember when you were starting a company, obviously you have this idea of your product and how it's supposed to look like and all the functionality your product has to have. The reality is when you go to your product team, when you go to your marketing team and you realize, OK, these are all the things I want to achieve, and you look on your timeline, you do very quickly come to a conclusion, yes, OK, I need to give up a few things. I need to focus on what is really essential. I would make a parallel with, imagine you are thinking about a beautiful new car, white, shiny, all the accessories, all the bells and whistles on it. But the point is, you actually need a vehicle who takes you from point A to point B. And sometimes it's OK to take those harsh trade-offs and to really focus on what it is which is essential for your business. Challenge number 2. I think it's also a very common challenge for every startup out there. It's all about implementation. I apologize for the language, but in the startup world, that's how the easiest way sometimes to communicate with each other. We all get in a room, you can have fantastic gatherings with your team members, you will have amazing number of ideas, amazing number of initiatives. People typically are very creative, very passionate about what it is they are doing. But the thing is, ideas will remain ideas unless you put a plan on how to make behind those ideas, on how to make those ideas actually come and translate into something tangible in the product, in your features, in whatever it is you do about your business. Whatever idea you decide to implement, you decide to go for, just break it into tangible pieces and tangible objectives, and just make sure what people on your team who you expect, if you expect them to do something, align on expectations. Make sure people do know what it is expected of them. It's maybe a very scary word, accountability, but people need to know what it is you want them to deliver, by when, whatever it is you want them to deliver, and why is it important. And this process, as simple as it sounds, in many cases it actually fails, because people discuss something, people are all very busy. In startup life, many people are wearing different hats. From the moment when you start running with it, maybe some things are not prioritized in the right order. If you do not have a plan, if you do not have accountability, if you do not have a very clear timeline by when you want these things to happen, it is possible things will not be done the way you want them to get done. Then there is challenge number 3. And when you think about it, communication, especially in the startup world, you would say, come on, we're a startup, we're a small company, everybody's aligned, we know what we are doing. Communication is probably something which big companies are struggling with. It has nothing to do with our startup world. The thing is, it's all fine in a company when all of the people may be sitting in the same room, when size of a company maybe of a team is relatively small. From the moment when you start growing, your team starts growing. In many cases, you will be opening offices in different countries. Many times, managers and co-founders, they sort of assume that whatever it is which have been discussed in your headquarters, in your main management team, somehow makes it to every single person within your organization. Well, I have a surprise for you. Actually, it doesn't. Many things which are discussed in the coffee breaks or in the lunch breaks, in the corridors, walking from one room to another, they are discussed there in that main office. They are discussed between the managers. Chances are that your teams, if they are remote, if they are working in different countries and in different locations, they might not be following this vibe. We might not be sharing those ideas, which you are absolutely convinced everybody should know. And it is an element to which we really all have to pay attention. Once again, being a startup, even if you have a great team, even if you have great investors, great partners, great funding in place, it's really important if you want to reach results, if you expect a great outcome from your teams and from your people out there, you need to make sure you enable them to contribute. And even if somebody is super talented and super skilled, if he doesn't exactly know what it is you expect of them, if he doesn't necessarily know, if he's not up to date about all the latest changes you have within your company, maybe changes in the strategy, or why we are doing this particular pilot, why we are doing this particular project. If he doesn't know that, he cannot really contribute to his full value. This is also how you might be losing talent, because if people don't know what's expected of them, if they can't contribute to the value they actually should be able to, chances are they will be demotivated and they might leave the company. So communication, it's really, really something which seems easy, seems obvious, but if it is forgotten, it can actually be can have a very devastating effect on the business and on your strategy. So these were, for me, like those three main challenges which we dealt in our first years of existence. One was the focus of how it is you prioritize and what it is how it is you make your trade-offs and what it is you work on, how it is you really move the needle for your business. Second is implementation. How do you make sure that all these great ideas and initiatives, we do not get lost, but they actually get done and get implemented? And the last one was communication. How do you make sure that you communicate with your people, that we all stay in the same, we all work in the same direction, we all stay on the same wave? Just a few encouraging words from my side is building a company, doing something new, building a startup it's tough, it's challenging, it can be scary at times, but if you have your idea, if you believe in it, if you are really determined to make it happen, don't let anything stand in your way. And as Mahatma Gandhi said, at first people ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. So impossible is really nothing. From my side, I would actually I try to make it as useful to you guys as I can. I kept my advices slightly on a high level and a bit generic, because obviously I do not know the nature of your businesses and what particular questions you might have. But if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to take Q&A here, or if you want maybe to ask me any other questions later on, I will be available in the bar area.
Thank you, Paulina. Thank you. So if you want, we still have a few minutes time for questions now.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so you can use Slido on the slido.com, use the hashtag Pioneers'18, and either start asking questions like the ones we see or upvote existing questions, or if you need a mic, just raise your hand, I will come to you. Good. The first question, what is the main difference between Job today and your competitors? Only mobile, and what else?
Well, let's just maybe think about who are my main competitors. Job today is a mobile marketplace for casual jobs. Just maybe elaborating on casual jobs, you can call them blue collar, you can call them jobs in hospitality sector, in retail sector, in many, many other operational sectors. So those sectors today, actually, 75% of those users are still hiring offline. Why are they hiring offline? Because existing solutions, such as job boards or agencies, have proven to be either too slow or too expensive for them. Why slow and speed is so important for hiring in casual jobs? Typically, those industries are all about operations. Operations is about having right people in the right place in the right time. So when you hire in hospitality business, when you hire for a restaurant, when you hire for a bakery, you cannot afford to miss the baker for 1 week, because the moment when your baker doesn't show up for work, you have no bread to sell. So do you feel the difference in urgency? It's really, really all about having the right places in the right time so your business can continue working. Existing solutions, job boards are just too slow for that. They do not enable that efficiency. So if I need someone tomorrow, job boards typically are too slow for me to actually make it happen. They're just not efficient enough. They're also not very easy to use. It's not only about mobile, it's also about how do you really remove friction from hiring. But what we are doing about removing friction is making the whole process from the moment when you post a job to the moment when you can actually engage with a candidate extremely simple, extremely fast, and extremely efficient. So I guess this is really our main differentiator. It's being mobile, it's removing friction, and in just being efficient in connecting people as fast and as easy as we can. Also, there are two very unique points to what we do, is type of customers on both sides of the equation which are using us. For instance, in UK, over 40% of our users which come to the platform are actually young people who are looking for their very first job. Why do they come to mobile? Obviously, because mobile interface is something which is natural to them. It's a natural interface for them to use. We speak their language. We have very easy and efficient user flow. On a side of a business side of the equation, over 80% of our users are actually SMB customers. SMB customers, which are moms and pop shops, which are small companies, local companies, which so far the main hiring sources have been through the paper in the window, for example. So those people are typically hiring offline. Job Today is the first online solution they are adopting, once again, because it's easy to use, because it's affordable, and because it's efficient.
So we're out of time, unfortunately. There are more questions coming up.
I'm happy to take them.
All right, so including the one, how do you find employees for a great team? You're happy to discuss backstage at the
Sure.
All right.
It's a great question, yeah.
Okay, so it is a great question. Unfortunately, we're out of time. You'll be available. So, Paulina, thank you very much. Please give it up. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.